What is going on, everybody? Been a diehard Pistons fan since '03 and eager to see this team getting back to playing winning basketball. We are here to recap another Pistons Summer League win, this time over the Chicago Bulls at a final score of 85-77. The Pistons were down pretty big early in this game and set themselves up for another comeback that they were able to make, mostly happening through the third quarter through the great play of a few individual players. Before we talk about those individual performances, before we get onto it, if you guys are new here, please subscribe. We're pushing up on 1,500 subscribers, and we'd love to hit that as soon as possible. All the recent support is much appreciated. So, as we normally do, we're going to talk about some individual performances before we get onto some of the team stuff, starting with the guys that I was most impressed by first and working our way down the list. And if you guys did not watch this game and just look at the box score, you're probably wondering, why were you so impressed with Bobi Klintman? He only finished with 5 points, which was definitely the lowest that he has finished with during the Summer League. But man, he did everything else on the court, especially during the times of the game where it mattered most. He had 12 rebounds, and he only finished with 3 assists, which seems crazy because if you're watching the game, it felt like he made the right pass over and over again, especially in the fourth quarter when the Pistons kind of melted their comeback and were trying to position themselves to win the game. He had a nice dump down pass to Ron Holland for a dunk a bunch of times on the not really short roll, but he would get into like the high elbow post extended area, make another pass down. A bunch of them ended up in the hands of Johnson, the backup center, who we'll talk about later, for some easy buckets. But overall, even in a game where Bobi Klintman was the least involved in the offense that he has been out of any of these Summer League games, he still looked really, really good in my eyes. I know that it's the Summer League, and we talk all the time about not overreacting to the Summer League. For every person that shows up to the Summer League and doesn't play that well and goes on to be great in the regular season, like Victor Wembanyama, you do get a situation like Donovan Mitchell, who showed up to the Summer League and proved to the NBA that he should not have fallen to 14th in the draft on day one, right when he rolled up to the Summer League. So it's kind of hard to find the balance of not overreacting to things or kind of taken too much of this in, but what I will say is Klintman's passing ability as a 4 is something you don't find that very often. I did not notice that in the small amounts of tape that I watched of Klintman after we drafted him from his time in the NBL. I didn't really catch that on the scouting report. I recently have heard him mention that he used to be a point guard as a kid, but man, it shows. And I don't know, I've just got a thing for big guys that know how to pass the ball, and he's definitely one of them. So overall, despite only having 5 points, I am super happy with the game that Bobi Klintman had. Marcus Sasser improved today. I know that his first game out of the Summer League was very bad with only 1 point. He followed it up with a kind of okay second game where he played a little better in the second half. But I do think there were some big improvements tonight. He finished with 17 points of 5 of 13 shooting. He had 5 steals, a couple of which were crucial steals and pivotal points of the game. He was able to get into the mid-range a little bit more. He was getting to a few of those floaters that we saw in the regular season last year pretty often, which opened up the floor for him to be able to knock down a couple threes. And then after that, he just started to look more comfortable than he has during rest of his time during the Summer League. Overall, I'd say it was a pretty good game from Sasser. I'm not sure if he's going to continue to play here in the last game of the Summer League or if we advance on into the tournament. I know sometimes these guys who are, more veteran compared to the rest of the Summer League, I know that's kind of weird because he's only a sophomore in the NBA, but he was a 4-year college player and whatnot, often do check out a little bit early in the Summer League. So I wouldn't be super surprised if Sasser does step away from the actual floor going forward, especially because this game was probably his best game so far. But if he does come back and plays against the next Friday, I'd be super excited for that because I do think that he finally did find his groove today, especially since he knocked down 3 of 5 from 3. And in the first 2 games, I think he was a combined 0 for 11. So pretty happy with the way the game went for Sasser. He just seemed more comfortable, more in control of the pace. A lot of the things that maybe weren't perfect about Sasser in the first couple games were still there, but nowhere to the degree that they were in the first couple games. Moving on to Ron Holland. Now, this was a big game for Ron Holland. This is a big game for Matas Buzelis because both these guys are playing against each other and they're former G League Ignite teammates. They both were, I think, the first and second rated high school players coming out of their class. So obviously they've got quite a bit of a history. Ron Holland, again, had a up and down game. There was a lot to really like about his game today. and there was a lot that I feel like could be improved upon. Towards the start of the game, it really felt like he was trying to make a statement, especially playing against Matas. It felt like there was a couple times where he would catch the ball on the wing, and Matas would be guarding him, and he'd give Matas a jab step, hold on to the ball for 3 seconds, and try and shoot it over Matas. So it kind of felt like he was taking it a little bit personal, going at Matas, and it felt like Matas was doing the same thing back to him. After the first quarter, that kind of shook itself out. Ron Holland did say that he wanted to dunk on Matas at the Summer League. He didn't dunk on Matas, but he did poster another dude who I have no idea who it was, but that was definitely fun to watch. Once he eased into the game, I think that things got a little bit better for Ron Holland. He did finish with 17 points on 7 of 20 shooting, and a couple of those buckets did come at pivotal points of the game towards the fourth quarter where the game was still being decided, so I was happy to see that. There's a lot to like about Ron Holland, man. When he leaves his feet and he jumps off two, you really don't know what's going to happen right now. It's either going to be a poster or sometimes a turnover, but either way, it's exciting to watch Ron. He did play some good defense as well, which I like to see. I'm not sure. He finished with 1 steal, but it felt like he was pretty active on that end. There was a couple plays where he probably could have got a foul called on him as well, and I think that'll translate to the regular season. I think once the regular season rolls around, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Ron Holland shoots the most free throws on our team per 36 minutes, because he just goes into the paint sometimes with reckless abandonment, and he jumps off too. You better jump early or you better time it perfectly, because if not, you're getting put in the hoop. So there's a lot to like about Ron. I really do like Ron. It was really fun to watch him go against Matas. I'm not going to sit here and try and sell you guys a story. The first video on this YouTube channel was me campaigning for the Pistons to draft Matas. So it was fun to watch him. I'm still cheering for him as a person, even though he's for the Bulls. It kind of sucks, but whatever. Either way, was definitely an exciting matchup, and I think that that will not be the last time we watch Matas and Ron go at it going forward in the NBA. Another dude that I did want to touch on here quick that I did not expect to talk about today is Jace Johnson. He's the backup big. He actually finished the game and closed out the game during the most important part of the game over Tolo Smith. He finished with 19 points to lead the team here. He did have a couple of rebounds to go with that as well on 8 for 12 shooting. He showcased a pretty nice touch around the rim. A lot of the buckets that he got felt like they were a product of either Klintman's passing or a couple from Sasser's passing or Ron's playmaking, but doesn't take away from it at all. Just didn't want to go too far into Jace Johnson's game because realistically, he's a bench center in the Summer League. I'm not sure how that really projects as far as the Pistons main roster goes, but nevertheless, he was pretty crucial in helping us win this game, and he did a really good job of finishing around the rim when we needed to him the most, and his touch looked good, so definitely wanted to shout him out a bit. But that's pretty much it, guys. I'm pretty happy that the Pistons pulled this game out. That's 2 games in a row where the Pistons have started the game off and went down early, and in a Summer League environment, it's pretty easy to roll over and just kind of mail it in at that point. And neither of those games, they have done that. They've continued to fight and pulled out both the wins. So that leaves us with 1 more game left in regular play for the Summer League. That will be against the Knicks coming up here in a couple days. I think that if they win that game against the Knicks, there'll be a pretty high chance that they'll end up going on to the Summer League tournament, which, like I said, I know it's the Summer League. I don't want to overreact to it, but I would love for us to get into there and be able to play for the Summer League championship and just kind of make a statement. Get some more eyes on our young players like Ron Holland, kind of nationally, and get these guys out there and get reps in, as many as possible right now, because I think they definitely need it. So looking forward to it going forward regardless. Happy we're able to pull this one out. I'll catch up with y'all soon.